I'm going to be painting this little setup here in gouache. I have all my paints, and the sky is pretty cloudy out right now, so the weather might be a little inconsistent, which means the lighting might be inconsistent. But thanks all for watching. I was really excited to reach the minimum number of people to do this. I am only going to be half paying attention to the comments, so I apologize in advance. But hopefully this is going to go relatively smoothly. Let's see, you can see my paints. I'm kind of topping things up right now. I've been using these gouache paints from Daniel Smith. I did a demo for them, and I really like them. They're so potent. I've used a lot of different gouache brands, and honestly, I'm good with pretty much anything, but I do genuinely like these a lot. So I always spray them down really well with water. People always ask me how I keep my paints from drying up, and this is how. All right. I haven't done one of these things in a very long time. I used to do Instagram Live a lot, uh, but I'm a little rusty. I'm using my trusty view catcher to paint my scene. Let's see, it has an 8 by 10 mark here. And this composition and subject is nothing really groundbreaking for me. But I try to keep it pretty simple for stuff like this. There's a lemon. About the center mark. And I just cut up a bunch of lemons and put these in here so we can see how I would approach glass. I know a lot of people get hung up on how to paint glass, so hopefully this will go as planned. I don't know, you can't see it very well, but I was drawing in this Colorase non-photo blue. That's why you can't see it very well. It's meant to be pretty invisible. So let's see here. I have all my watercolor brushes. And as always, I love painting lemons and stuff like this because they're really great examples of handling color and saturation, light. It's a great little teacher. I know that looks really dark, and it kind of is, but it's not too far off. All those noises in the background are my chickens, or our chickens. They're pretty mad that I'm not feeding them delicious food right now. So I'm trying to just block in these really light bits. Not super precise right now. And then I've got this blue towel, which I'm gonna kind of put in here. And it has a little stripe, but I'm not gonna put that in right now. I might do it later. See if I get, yeah, all this is pretty blue. I'm just gonna do this. And over here, I have some of these stripes. And it's getting kind of cut off. We're gonna go right into the jar like that. And I'm using a little bit of black. I really don't know how I feel about these lives yet. I personally don't watch them much, but people do like to see how I would paint some stuff. A little bit of reflected light in there. Kind of a mess right now. It's okay. I'm not even gonna paint the glass, to be honest, right now. And this black that I'm putting on is a little bit stark. I want it to be colorful still, so I'm gonna put a little more life into it. Black can easily kill a painting if you want a lot of color. Got some nice wrinkles. It looks abstract. I'm actually painting this over here, but I can't fit it all in the frame, so it's gonna come together, I promise. I think. It always looks very abstract to start with. And I know everything's kind of bleeding in together. It's okay. I just want to get rid of all the white on the paper. Even some of this. Yeah. I know it's such a mess at the beginning, but that's what I like about it is you can kind of pull it together. This is the bottom of the jar. And then I'm gonna get some of these piths, which is the white of the lemon. And it's a little bit cooler, so I'm adding some blue. Now down here, it's a little bit warmer. And each plane kind of has a different color. So I always try to switch it up. But you're gonna kind of see things come together as I paint these pits. And they're kind of distorted. I can't see things super well. Some of these are very yellow because they're picking up the reflected light of the lemons beside it. Kind of want to get this darker yellow. Hopefully my camera doesn't die. It's a bit warm out. Ooh, that's way too dark. I like doing these lives because they kind of show people how to fix mistakes. You know, some people make mistakes and they think that's it, it's over. They need to just toss it. But most things can be brought back. A little bit of love. Yep, this is gouache. Sorry, I'm only half paying attention to the uh, comments because I have to look over my shoulder. But I'm gonna try to pay attention a little bit. This is gouache. I've been using gouache for quite some time, and I became kind of known for as a gouache artist, but lately I've been doing more oils than gouache. I like them both though. They both have unique qualities that are great for different circumstances. I like to use gouache for a lot of really bright and vibrant subjects. And I like to use oils for stuff that's maybe a little bit darker, because with gouache it's hard to get that, rich, dark color. And then as you get up here, it's a little bit warmer. It's almost like a purple, but the light's changing. Doing some of these shadows in here. And up here, I'm going to paint some of this glass just so I can see what's going on. Just the outsides. And then it's going to get a little bit tricky as I paint this. Less is more. So my jar might not end up just right, but that's okay. It's always hard to get these little rains. And here, and here. And so I check this as a little line to see like how far off things are. I can extend this out a little more. The shadow over here. Yep, we get some drips. gonna get some of this line, the towel. These towels are from Trader Joe's, and I love them. But I've been noticing a lot of people are painting these towels now, so it's hard to get a more unique look. Okay, I don't own them. Anybody can paint with these. Okay. I'm just trying to assess what I'm going to paint next. So there's a little bright faint line right at the bottom of the glass. It's a very common characteristic. You all should know I don't really make sense when I'm talking and painting. It's kind of like a 50-50. So just choose to ignore me if I don't make sense. If I say something stupid. Sun's really coming out now. You can kind of see it's coming together a bit. Really bright there. So this is probably my brightest color. You want to get a bit of shine because it's kind of glowing. I use my hands a lot. Now I'm using some water to kind of soften the edge. Over here, I don't know if it's because the jar is a little bit dirty, but got some lighter colors. My crows are calling me. Been making friends with the neighborhood crows, and whenever they see me outside, they start cawing. Okay. We got this down here as well. And this lemon on top. All these lemons were very carefully put in the jar as well. You have to be very strategic when setting up still lifes. You don't have to be, but I tend to be. My umbrella. You want to keep your painting shaded if you can, or your easel at least, because it dries out so fast being gouache. So a little bit of light on this one. These ones are very blue on this side because it's reflecting this light from the towel. So there's a lot of more saturated blues over here, which are kind of cool, literally. And I kind of want to push the temperature of this as well. So I'm going to add some more blues. Getting some darker bits down here, just to kind of define edges a little better, like the edge of this lemon chunk. And over here as well. There's a little bit of saturation up here, but it's very faint, so I'm kind of watering down my paint, and it's a little more transparent that way. Just a nice fold right here. Curling around. See some more detail of the towel. Should be using a bigger brush. I try to use the biggest brush that I can. Sometimes I've done a whole painting just with a 1-inch brush, and I feel like those kinds of exercises are really helpful. See if you can see this. See a little hummingbird? This is why I like painting outside. It's just so nice, especially in California. Can't really complain. Okay, let's get some of this pith on the lighter sides. So these are the ones that are being hit more directly by light. And you gotta squint to really get the right value. Some of them are a little bit tricky. They get kind of distorted by the glass as well. So I just use my finger. If it's kind of distorted and blurry, I use my finger to give it that same feel. A lot of people don't like that I use my finger because of toxins and stuff, but I don't know. Everything's gonna kill us these days. You gotta make your own decisions. Pick your poison. This is mine. So you can feel free to ask any questions. I am able to kind of lean back and glimpse at what's going on. I just can't promise that I'm going to have an answer for everything. But I do like the more interactive aspect of painting lives. These as well. Yeah. Not that there's a ton of viewers right now. It's always so sad. I always feel bad when I'm kind of looking on TikTok and only see like one person watching. And that's me now. Yay. You really gotta love what you're doing if you're gonna be a creator of any type. It's not easy. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of warmth, and really, if you can see the paint that I'm mixing, my palette, I'm going pretty thick right now because I want to start painting the white of the paper or the table here. Barking dogs. I'm leaving to Michigan this week for a plein air event, a competition, the Paint Grand Traverse competition. And I did a bunch of Amazon orders because I'm nervous, and I apparently what I do when I'm nervous is I shop excessively for things I don't really need. Not a good habit. Did help though. Didn't really want that to go quite as far down. Oh, thank you. See if I missed. Yeah, I've been painting for a little while. I got obsessed with it. I mean, I've been painting my whole life, or drawing my whole life. I went to school where for illustration back in the day, and I never really did a lot of plein air painting or studying from life until I started working in the gaming industry. And a bunch of us would go out every lunch hour and just paint for fun. And I just got really obsessed with it, as I do with almost everything. Okay. So my jar, the top is too small. Maybe the bottom. So I'm using my brush to kind of compare. I can see that if I do this, the top of the jar should probably be closer to the edges. It's not like a narrow mouth jar. So my drawing is not the best. It's okay. This white of the jar almost disappears, the edge right here. Now I'm gonna go over here. Yeah, my drawing's not the best. Okay, again with the bigger brush. Go. Alright, let's see if I can fix this jar. Okay, so it's gonna come out a bit more, like so. I always feel like I'm on a little rescue mission when I do stuff like this. I'm gonna get rid of all that glow that I just did, just to see if I can fix this up. Oh dear. Ah, disasters everywhere. Okay, so the edge of the jars are gonna come out here. Got this big rose pot behind here, which is the reason for the black. But again, I didn't want to go super stark black, so I'm adding a little bit of ultramarine blue to kind of keep some color and life in it. Okay. Went all the way up. I hate painting ellipses. I hate speaking also. Like I know words, but I'm not good at saying them. Okay. Yeah, I think we're kind of fixing the jar slightly. Still probably a little bit narrow, but you know what? I don't really care. Oh, thank you, Mojo Clay. Glad you could tune in. I'm just testing stuff out. I don't know if I'll be doing more of these or what. I need to do something though. Had some pretty major burnout from these past couple of years, as a lot of people are probably feeling the same way. But I just haven't had any energy to do any selling of my work or trying hard with social media or anything. And I'm not like, it's not my goal right now. My goal is to just have fun and play around. So, I don't know where I was going with that. Yep, this is what happens when I try to talk and paint. Okay, so now that I have everything kind of set up, I can start to, I don't know, pick out little things that I like and work on them. Adding more detail, refine some of the colors that I'm seeing. Picks up so many shapes. It's actually really saturated right here. And I love these little bits of saturation. And over here as well. So this is pretty spot on. I'm going to try to preserve some of that light coming through. And then over here, this one's a little more of a greenish orange. Not quite as saturated. It might have changed. I don't quite remember. Those are our ducks. We have two ducks. The one quacking, I think, is Oreo. And she has a sister named Oatmeal. Call her Odie for short. We had them since they were babies, but they never quite got comfortable with us. So they're still pretty wild. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it all kind of comes together right at the end. Trying to get these highlights. And again, I'm going to try to reproduce this glow. Oops. Oh, I hate getting any little splashes in gouache because that will show up. But that's okay. Perfectionist me needs to let it go. And let's on this towel. Our hummingbird friend is back. Master of light, I wish. Good hummingbird breaks. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. I would love to be a master of anything. I just bought a bunch of art books uh, because I'm going to Michigan, like I said earlier, and I always get nervous on plane rides, and I feel like looking at art books is really helpful, gets my head in the game. But I'm kind of interested in writing a book as well because I'm buying all these books that are actually from my peers now. So it's a little bit weird, but I feel like you can learn from everyone. There's always something you can learn. I want to write a book, but I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. I don't know if I want it to be instructional, although I could see the benefit to that, but I tend to like, Robert Minrai. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. He has an awesome book, The Art Spirit. He's an old master, but I love just like the little bits of wisdom. There's not really a lot of pictures in the book. It's mostly just um, little pieces of advice, and I really like that. So I was thinking of doing something like that, but we'll see. I've been thinking about this idea for a really long time. I just need to do it. I just need to look it up. A lot of reflected light from this rind. And I think having this right next to this beautiful sky blue that's reflecting is so nice. The touch of green right here, which I also kind of like. And these colors might have just popped up recently because the light's changing. I'm outside, but I kind of pick and choose things that I like. I'm not super accurate. I'm not painting a photo. All right. I think it's looking not too shabby. So if you want straight lines, I tend to just hold my arm straight out and then use my brush as kind of like a 90-degree angle. And this will help straighten out any crooked lines or see if your painting's swaying to the right or left. Oops, that's really light. Okay, it'll probably darken. Oops. A lot of oopsies in this painting. Gouache plein air class. I've always wanted to teach a plein air class, and I've wanted to do like a rose class. If any of you, I mean, you should know that I like to paint roses. Pretty obsessed with those too lately. But that would be fun. Oh, I could teach that. I mean, I kind of am right now in a way. But it's harder because you have to have Wi-Fi, I think, right? So I can't really go out into the hills. I think I usually do. Oh, I just like don't even breathe when I'm painting stuff like this. I would love to teach people how to paint roses. You know, some of them are trickier than others. I tend to like the more cuppy, I guess is what they call it, rose, with a lot of dense petals. And I think those are easier because they're more simple shapes. The ones that you see in the stores, like those really, I don't even know how to describe it. They're more like hourglass shaped. Those are harder for me, and I really don't enjoy painting them. I think because I think they're kind of ugly. Don't tell them I said that. But to me, I want to teach people like what I look for and how I kind of started out. I use a lot of negative space. I'm almost done. Kind of just fixing things up. So this one is like glowing, but I want it to have this gradient. Like it's a little bit darker at the bottom, and as it moves up, it just gets this bright glow. Using some of this bright yellow, and I'm gonna just touch it up here at the top to give it even more of a pop. I'm unintentionally rhyming right now. Okay. And when I'm using a color like that, I tend to kind of look around and see where else I can apply it. This kind of goes over here. And I think I want to darken this here. Darken this shape. And this is going to help kind of break up the silhouette. See how that just brought that forward a little more? And I swear these slices are moving. These ball jars always have this little like measurement line. I think that might be a little bit too dark, so I'm going to lighten it. And you can see some of the towel back here as well. All right. So I can wet my brush and use it to kind of soften any edges, any areas that are really standing out to me that I want to push back. Let's see, I don't know how long this thing's been going on for. I'm almost done. But definitely let me know if you enjoy this, if you want to see more like it, if you have any ideas of other things that you want to see, maybe other subjects. And I am happy to try to accommodate while I figure this stuff out. Oh, flowers. Yes, I will definitely be painting flowers at some point. I actually bought some big sunflowers this morning. So maybe if I have time tomorrow after packing, I will do that. Although sunflowers are always a little bit, they're always surprisingly hard. I'll get a little more detail here. Interested in the setup and approach for gouache versus oil. That's a good one. I feel like it really depends on the subject. For oil painting, sometimes I approach it a lot like gouache. Like I start with the most vibrant colors and then get my values in there pretty early. But other times, depends on my mood. Sometimes I just go a more traditional route of dark to light. Or I'll put like a value study in like a burnt umber or something. It's very traditional. But yeah, I can definitely talk about that a little bit for another time. There's always a point where I go a little bit silent. I'm focusing. Oh, this towel has moved with the wind. So there's a lot of ways you can check your paintings, and I always encourage people to do this. So flipping it upside down is one good way. It just changes your perspective. Sorry, you can't see that very well. Here you can see the whole setup. Let me take the camera off and flip my painting back over. My jar is not too bad, I don't think. It's always good to step away from your piece as well, like get up and get out of the room or wherever you are. I'm going to close this in case it falls flat on its face, which it tends to do. And there we go. Oh, you can zoom. Here's the painting. And I'm gonna get up. Oh, hold. Here's my setup, sitting on this tiny little stool. Got my paints here. This is where I had my phone on this old trusty tool. And I have an umbrella. So if you want to see what it looks like in the light, it always is quite a bit different. There we go. And there's a chicken to say hello to. This is Silver. She's a biter. She's the most loving and mean chicken around. And Coconut wants to say hi too before we leave. You want to say hi? She's wagging her tail. She says hi. She hates the camera. Okay, I'm leaving. Alright, so that's it. The first live is done. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned a little bit of something, or maybe just enjoyed a bit of peacefulness out in the California sunshine. Again, just message me or write a comment and say what things you want to see, or if you liked it, didn't like it. I'm happy to kind of fix things up and get situated. So let's see if I know how to close this out.